watch the left guard now, okay? And Steve Shankwater emphasizes this from Georgia Tech. But let's say we're going to step to the left. We take a drop step. See that little foot drop right there? See that foot drop? How fast can you get that next foot on the ground? You see it on the ground. Your feet are always on the ground when you block. So here's an example of getting the second step on the ground. I'm not talking about landmarks or anything. I'm trying to cover two things here. The demeanor in your stance, so the knock-knee approach, so the weight's on your insteps, your toes are out. That's where you push. And also there's an example of getting the second step on the ground. Okay, let me go a little bit further here. West Point, all right? Okay, let's look right here at look at the left tackle. This is a rookie right here from East Carolina. See the flexibility this guy's got? His name's Tom Scott. See how his feet are flat on the ground? That means he can pick his foot up, pick it down, whatever. Watch the left guard again. See the demeanor in the stance? See him pick the foot up here? Watch the right foot get on the ground. What I'm saying, this is a play-action pass, but let's say I'm going to drive block this guy. I'm going to blow him out. I'm going to bust him, whatever you want to call it. You pick that foot up and put it down. But watch how he picks it up and puts it down. His foot is flat on the ground. That gets his ankle to come over here and cover him up. You see that ankle right there? You don't want to stay square to the line of scrimmage like this, because your man will come off the block. You want to have your shoulders turned commensurate to where the guy is you're blocking. So this is the blocker, that's the defender guy. Excuse me, this is the defensive guy. The angle your shoulders want to go is that way. So what's showing us here is the demeanor in his stance, the knock-knee approach, the drop step, and get the second step on the ground, all right? See how the feet go bam, 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 bam. Now again, this is only a play-action pass. But is there any questions now what I'm trying to show you with this knock-knee approach? The knees are in, the toes are out for power, you're on your insteps. Also, we're talking about getting that second step on the ground right now. Now, where does he put that second step in this block? He puts it slightly inside of that guy's foot. See the base he has right there? We're always working for a base. Okay? Is there any questions now? Let's say you got a right guard who wants to block a free technique, and he's almost in the gap. So we take a drop step and go over here and block it. But we don't want him to come back underneath us. A little coaching point I fell into is you take your inside hand and block the back of his pad. Block the back of his pad. That will make sure that three technique does not come back inside. I'll show you the film in a minute, all right? Now, let's say the guy's in a tight three technique. We wouldn't block the back of his pad. We'd block him. If he goes in, we'd adjust to him, right? So I'm going to show you the coaching point I use. Block the back of his pad. Okay, this is a play now, okay? Everybody sees that here, right? No problems? All right, we're running a weak side ISO right here. This is a check with me, all right? We want to go to the reduction, all right? We're going to lead this guy through the hole, all right? This guy's going to turn on him, he's going to turn on him, all right? This is against the Vikings. They play it under defense, all right? The right guard is going to drop step. See the drop step? See this foot right here? See it come up and down? That's the only way you're going to get on an angle to cover the guy. If you step like that right at him, he'll flatten you out. Does everybody understand those words? Watch the right guard drop. See the drop step? Watch the right tackle drop step. You lose ground to gain ground. This is my whole deal, all right? Now watch the right guard block the back of his pad. Watch the right tackle block the back of his pad. That's just a little coaching point to make sure the guy doesn't come inside. I don't think they'll call you for being illegal. So forth and so on. Now watch the second steps. They're trying to get the second step on the ground. Is there any questions about block the back of their shoulder pad? Why, when, where, whatever? Who's talking? So I got a question? Okay. Any questions now? All righty. Let's see if we do it again. Same thing. Now, we really don't like to teach holding, but this is an example of really being somewhat illegal in the block to deny the guy from coming back inside. Let's watch the right guard again. This is called a 14 call.
Here's the head.
The head is trying to get, probably 2 inches past the midpoint, across the bow. Of course, the guy moves a little bit. The guy moves a little bit, so your head will be basically down the middle, all right? The point I'm making is if you didn't drop this foot like that, you'd never cover him up. If you stepped on an angle like that, he'd shrink your hole. He'd shrink the blocker so there's no hole to run through. You see him lose ground? You see where he's losing ground? On his insteps. Watch the right tackle. How many guys have had a tackle fire out on that angle, and the guy comes right around him, and he shrinks the play? You have to lose ground to get on an angle. This is nothing new, right? So we're covering two things. Showed you how you lose ground to gain ground. How do you get on an angle to block your guy? Plus a little coaching point, block the back of his pads. Okay? So it's as simple as you're looking at it. You say, what I'm trying to do is give you an exact situation. All right? You shouldn't have, what I'm saying is, I'm not trying to be smart, is this is the situation. So you don't have to ask about 46 other situations. Here is a deal, right? Then we go to the next deal. All righty. All right. So what we've covered is, we've covered a little bit of demeanor in the stance, right? We covered a little bit of block the back of the shoulder pad. We covered a little bit of taking a drop step, get the whole foot on the ground, right? Now we're going to talk just a little bit of pass pro, I think. Okay? Now I'll tell you what we're going to do right here. We're going to, let's just see. Let's talk about maybe pass pro and block the back of the guy's pad. Okay. All right, let's talk about the right tackle. The right tackle's pass blocking, a guy named William Fuller. See him come back underneath him? See what I'm saying? See him club him? You know, my tackle overcommits or whatever he does. I mean, he gets a center of grip. See the guy clubbing back inside? Here'd be another example if you were trying to coach this tackle. You know, maybe he takes a little deeper angle, but don't let that son of a bitch beat you inside. Block the back of his shoulder pad. Okay? You understand where I'm coming from? Let him beat you upfield a little bit. Block the back of his shoulder pad. Now, it's not quite as clean, but you see him kind of block the back of his shoulder pad, or he's thinking about blocking the back of his shoulder pad. Watch Munoz here, the left tackle. He's stretching the guy. See him get out on the guy? Okay. Something else here? I'm going to talk about a wedge here. And that's not when your underwear gets tied up into your drawers. All right, now this is a little hard to see, but this is Chicago, okay? So you got to look closely. All right, now let me show you what happens here. We run our off tackle play over here. First of all, when we run our off tackle play, when the guard's covered, we run for the ass of the guard. Okay, see how this thing works, this pad? It's beautiful. See what I'm saying to you? If you had stag films, you could circle the girls. All right, now, I can't say anymore because the guy from Houston, didn't he get fired? I mean, you got to be careful, you can't say anything anymore. The point I'm making here now, let's cover a couple of things. See this guard is covered, when we run our off tackle play, our belly, we call it 16 and 17, all right? We run for the inside leg of the tackle. When the guard is covered, we run for the inside leg of the guard because there are more cuts to where the soft spots are when we run for the butt or the inside leg of the guard, okay? When we run for the right tackle over here, you see where the tight end is? That the man on the tight end can shoot inside and the backer can straight, okay? So if my tackle went out, okay? If my tackle went to the outside and worked with the tight end, and my pad isn't working here, the linebacker, number 55, might fall underneath. 55, right? So there are times when the guard and tackle are blocking a free technique and a linebacker. You know what I'm saying? The stand-up guy, that the tackle is either going to work, he's either going to work with the guard. You don't have any idea what that pad is. See, this is what happens in Europe during the party. But what I'm saying to you, we like this guy to work with him. He to work with him, all right? But when he works with him, sometimes he falls back under here and makes the play. So we have a blocking scheme now where these two guys can work together for those two, okay? So my point is the guard and tackle going to work together? We call that a team meet. Team being tackle and tight end meet, all right? But if we're running up in here and the ball goes in here, me going out here, he shoots over the top. So now we run what we call a wedge. Okay? A wedge meaning that the call, when we think that linebacker is going to fall inside, watch what happens. The right guard takes a drop step. See the drop step? But he hits him with his right forearm. Now see the drop step of the right guard? See him back up? Well, if my tackle took a drop step, they'd step on each other. So on a wedge, you got that wedge, the guard drop steps and hits him with his right forearm, flipper, forearm, not hands. So it frees up his head, but the right tackle just lunges off the ball, steps forward with his inside foot and hits him with his near flipper. See that? Then, if the 3 technique goes out, the guard can come back underneath him. Better than fold blocking because you get some sort of a surge. You know, the tackle blocks down, the guard floats around, right? Is there any questions now what a wedge is for us? Okay? Question.
The line, is that a call with the line?
Well, let's say we're going to run. See, the first time we ran this play, we thought the guy was in a 7 technique, and the tackle stepped out with the tight end. He called team knee, and the backer ran underneath inside. So he says, uh-oh, we know what they're doing. The 3 technique's working with the backer. He's not working with the 7 technique. So we went, the next time we ran it, we went to wedge, wedge, wedge. Questions?
Even if you had a 7 technique, would you go to a wedge?
No. 7 technique means the 7 is probably coming in, and the backer's probably scraping. Thank you. What was the problem? Power. Jesus Christ. It's a play. All right, here we go. Thank you, Mr. Skinner. All right, now, our team me now, he'd block him down the middle, and he'd take a drop step behind him like this. Try to get behind him, but if this guy flowed inside, he's blocking him, hell, he's making the tackle, all right? So we've got to determine versus a 3 technique, you with me now, 3 technique and eagle backer, when we run our off tackle play, what are we going to do? Is he working with him for him? Is he working with him for him? Are we folding? Whatever. This is an example of a blocking scheme. But the key to the blocking scheme, since I like the drop step, you saw that drop step stuff, right? Well, if he drop step, because everything I do is a drop step. You lose ground to gain ground. You lose ground to get on an angle. I found they stepped on each other. So I had the right guard drop step. Can you see it? And the right tackle just comes straight ahead. So now they don't step on each other. The right tackle is using his forearm. You see the movement we're creating? I mean, I don't know much movement, but you see at least there's some surge. Now the tight end doesn't do a very good job, but the right guard and the right tackle get the job done here. Okay, so while I'm on that topic, same deal I talk about a lot. The number one thing that none of us teach as much as we should is the forearm, the old forearm blow. You know, when somebody told us, well, we use the hands in the pros, right? You know, whatever. All right, well, you can use the hands, but the best way to deliver a blow, if you only got to block half a man, is the old forearm blow. And that's not the one like this. That's the one you learn how to use the Crowder machine and rotate the wrist away from yourself and those types of things, okay? Now, I'm not talking about when you come square off on a guy or when you're pushing a guy with zone blocking. What I'm saying is when you've only got about half a man to block, your best weapon is your flipper, your forearm. Okay? Any questions? You see what we're doing? We're going from one play to another, okay? Any questions? Wedge.
Wedge is 3 plays base. He walks play side back.
What?
So 3 plays base. Then I come inside.
If he doesn't come inside, then we just double team the shit out of this guy, and he stays on the backer till he gets the linebacker depth, then he puts his head across in front of him. Since we're keying this guy, we're going to run right off that guy's ass. That's a wedge. Any questions now? Footwork, landmarks, forearm.
I'm trying to make a decision when to block which way.
Because if you went with a team lead and the linebacker fell underneath, you're using the wrong technique.
You're not making it on alignments, then you're making it on...
No, let's start over again. This guy's in a 9 technique. This guy's in a 3. He's not coming inside, always wait. He's in a 7 technique. Start the ball game teaming it, because they'll probably work together. Answer? Questions? Thank you. All right. All right, now we're talking about the backside. Okay, we're talking about off tackle play, right? Off tackle play, belly. whatever you want to call that play right there, okay? Not a wide sweep, not a way dive. You got two guys right here. These two got to block those two, okay? We call this a backside bounce. All right, now, this guy goes like this guy goes like this, and this guy splits them. The ball carrier is back here 6 yards deep, so this guy doesn't have to escape right now. You understand what I'm saying? This guy doesn't have to go get him right now, unless it's a defense that skins the gap, all right? So what I'm saying to you, these are different ways that the backside guard and tackle block those two guys. Now you got to realize that the ball is going up the middle or off tackle. Let's just talk about where we start from. Okay, this is hard to coordinate all this stuff, you know that. You guys don't give a shit, all you want is your $10 worth. All right, here we go. These two guys on the backside are going to block those two guys, okay? Now, here's the problems that we didn't have early. When we ran these zone blocking plays, for whatever reason, I don't know, I'm not a defensive coach. This guy right here didn't just split the gap on us. He'd kind of play into this guy and we'd have a field day. This guy'd come off and we'd kind of double this guy and create movement and so forth. And now we're seeing a lot of these gap defenses that really penetrate the gap, all right? So I got a lot of these things on the backside, all right? Let's just take an example here now. Backside, we felt that this guy right here was going to really split the gap on us. Split the gap and he was going to move. So Munoz takes him, he comes off and blocks this guy, okay? He's trying to grab him now. All right? See him grab him? All right, here's a problem, all right? Okay? All right, the next time we ran this play, all right? I got to make sure I'm on the right deal here. Now watch what the left guard and the left tackle did. Same two guys, same game. All right, now the point I'm making here is, when you're on the backside, now this is common sense, this is junior high blocking, I'm telling you. You go to cut your guy off, are you with me? And he goes around you. Well, the ball might go up the middle. Turn towards the quarterback. We try to put our ass on the guy, butt block him, but we can't feel him, so turn right back into the quarterback. Notice all their footwork, though. Everything's a drop step. My point is, when I'm covering here, you got a problem. They tried to solve it. We got to take a wider split. Okay? The only other way to do it is have him come here and have him go all the way around. Then you get kind of flattened out, if that makes sense to you. So we went from a zone scheme to a man scheme. They did it on their own. They know how to do it, because we say if you ever get grabbed, take a big split. Any questions? All right, now let's go to more of those types of things. All right. Okay. All right, now watch the backside guard and tackle, all right? We're talking about this eagle back here, right? These two blocking those two. Now, you saw what Munoz did in that film we just looked at. He came in and blocked it. But see how this guy's kind of hanging on the guard? So what I'm saying to you, you don't have to escape this guy to get him and go get him. Because the ball is kind of slow hitting, this guy right here can take an angle to block him, but he can waddle to that man. He can slow it down. He can say, I might have to block the man on me. I don't have to force the exchange. The backside tackle can take a drop step and put one hand out to feel this guy. All right, if this guy runs into him, he blocks him with his left forearm. But if this guy runs hard, he'll double team that guy. Let's watch Anthony. They're zoning, but you'd never know it, right? Because the left guard isn't trying to escape. Are you with me? What I'm saying, you guys would probably do this. You come in and block him, you go in and block him. They're reading it. You understand what I'm saying? The guard is taking a drop step. He's got his shoulders turned. He's going to take this angle to block that guy if he goes that way. But if he hangs on him, he's going to end up blocking him alone. See the drop step the guard takes? That slows him down. So any questions why the left tackle didn't go in and block 91? He's reading the backer. When we zone block, we don't look at the down lineman. We look at the linebacker and we feel the down lineman with our hand. Question. Do you see why the left tackle, if he just buried himself in the 3 technique and the backer comes straight ahead, you'll miss him. And the back cuts back. So what we teach in our zone scheme on the off-tackle play is take a deep drop step. Watch Anthony we didn't take a real deep one here, but he takes a drop step. One hand. See what the one hand does? That gets him in position to feel that guy if he comes to him. It puts him in a position to double the guy if the backer goes fast. Any questions on what you're seeing right now? So you ought to consider slowing your zone scheme down on the backside if you're running some sort of a belly or something in here. Now, if you're running a wide sweep, now you can just go get him. Or man him. Take the big split like you saw. All right, let's go to the next one.
What do you do with gap stack?
Gap stack. The guy would, well, if he's in the gap and he's going to penetrate, we would just go get him right now like we saw in that first team. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, watch the backside tackle. All right, he's taking a drop step. He's going to put one hand up. Watch this guy run fast. Watch him double the guy. When he doubles the down lineman, he creates a bigger hole for the cutback. Watch the right guard. That Fred Dean's here right now that played for the Redskins, okay? And he coaches at Howard now. So he knows how big and strong this Butts is. I think this is Butts we're playing 4 or 5 years ago. Our right guard's a good player, Max Montoya, but no way could he move Butts like that by just firing out. When the right guard drop steps and gets on an angle and the back moves him, it makes Butts move. You see what I'm saying? If you fire out as hard as you can, he'd knock your dick stiff. So the back plus your head position plus losing ground to time the block up makes men move. We're not talking about that now, but I just happen to notice that. I'm talking about the backside tackle and guard zoning. In fact, the backside guard is too fast coming off. As he takes his drop step, he should waddle in here, keep your shoulders on the right angle to block him. But now, what I'm saying to you is, see, he thinks he's got to come off and block him, but he's hanging on him. He knows Munoz is going to push him, create a big cutback. There's where your cutbacks come. But you see, the backside tackle can only do this when he's sure his guy runs fast. If his guy were to sit in here like this and hit him in the mouth, he'd have to block him. That's why his eyes are on the backer. Not to force the exchange right now. Any questions? Okay. Tackle. See the right tackle put one hand out? See him create the cutback? Fast flow. Fast flow backers, 2 hands. Start one hand, see him put one hand out, because he doesn't know this guy's going to hit him in the mouth. Fast flow. Double him. Create a cutback. Right guard and tackle on the right. See the one hand? But he didn't read fast slow. See the backside guard? He ends up blocking the guy. Okay, backside guard and tackle right here. See how deep he gets behind him? Fast flow. Possible cutback. Movement to get a cutback. Okay. Let's talk about a tough technique. See this guy right here? We're zone blocking. This guy grabs us. See it? We can't get the backer. All right, you see where this guy lines up right here? I mean, game plan, right? You know it, all right? You're trying to area block these two guys with your zone scheme. This guy's splitting you. I mean, you can't get off him. He's holding you. You're seeing it. Right now, exit, exit. Put your head in the middle, put your head inside, drive them and twist them, pull the guard on a tight pull around and block that guy. I'm trying to get this guy off for that guy. I can't get off. Both, see this guy's inside too. Now, if this guy played tough and we hit him and we could come off, we keep the zone on. But as soon as they start holding the tackles on our off-tackle play, block down, he'll go right with you. He'll go right with you because he's playing a 4-eye or a tough technique, just a real tight pull around. So it'd be a fold, but it's really not a read. Questions? You don't want to keep getting split. I don't want to use the word split. Split doesn't bother us. We just take a deeper drop step, but you don't want to be grabbed by that. Questions? Did you understand what I meant by an exit call? Okay. He takes a drop step. He wants to put his helmet slightly outside. He takes that foot and gets it on the ground. So here's what we tell him on a drive block. He's a left tackle. He's got a little bit of a stagger. He takes a drop step with that foot to get him on an angle. This foot now, where we try to tell him to put that foot is, put it slightly inside of that guy's inside foot, but get it on the ground. See the left tackle, get it on the ground? Go ahead and block the back of his shoulder pad. But I'm saying we're talking about the left guard, the left tackle getting the second step on the ground, then the third and the fourth and the fifth. Any questions? Steve Shankweiler from Georgia Tech calls it bounce the foot on the ground. Bounce your second step on the ground. Don't uncoil or lunge like you used to. Get your feet on the ground so you don't miss people. All right? We are just kicking ass here. Okay, we're talking pass pro now. I don't know when you apply this stuff, but you'll know when you see it, all right? This guy's coming out and blocking this guy right here. He overcommits to the outside, the guy comes underneath him. He's leaning, he's got too much weight outside. Your pass block, you're a guard pass block, you set, the guy comes underneath you. So you got a real problem with that, let's say. I got a guy named Kirk Strafford. He's only about 265, he's light in the butt, but he's a good pass protector, excellent pass protector, okay? He uses the Strafford tilt. Let's watch it. See it? And he's still going out on the guy. Now, this is a 2-hour discussion just on pass pro. So we don't want a 2-hour discussion on pass pro right now. I want to show you the Strafford tilt. Where do you think his weight is? Inside. He don't want to get beat inside. He's still going out, right? Still going out. He can take a deeper angle, right? He can take an angle back here if he wants, still, but don't lean. Don't get your weight over here. It's all center of gravity. Keep your weight inside. Okay. Let's see, might do it again. You're seeing it, right? You can see it. You don't even have to ask me a question, right? There it is. So what do is, you got to teach him how the ankle and the knee are ahead of the hip. Your ankle and your knee are ahead of your hip. How do you teach it? You just teach it. You show them how to hold the weight inside. Don't lean. Don't get your weight over your outside. Now he's doing the same thing, but he's moving his inside foot first. It's another story. If the guy's real wide, we move our inside foot first. But he's still got the Scrafford tilt. Okay. Okay. Any questions? He's not gonna, like a tackle can open up the gates a little bit like that. I mean, he has to give a little more, right? Where the guard's got to be a little flatter. But the guard can still hold his shoulders inside so he doesn't lean. So I really know why, okay? I'm just telling you, this is what I've learned over the years. You got a guy ahead on with you, all right? You move your inside foot because you don't want to get beat inside. The bigger you move your inside foot, the lower it puts you. So why would you want to stay lower? The guy you're blocking is bigger than you. He's stronger than you are. So, for example, okay, I just move that foot a little bit. Or I really move it, okay? Puts me lower. The bigger you step or set, the lower it puts you, okay? So now here would be an example of, and I'll kind of work the pencil, the post foot is the inside foot, and let's just see what we got going here. Okay, see it? All right, now, I'm not saying he's taking a big one, I'm not saying he's taking a little one. I'm saying this is a left tackle in a left-handed stance. He's in a two-point right now just for the nature of the drill. He could be down. But when you set, this is my opinion, when you set inside, you just move it over. This foot's up slightly, this foot's back. You don't move it forward. If you move it forward, your body turns and you're vulnerable to that type of a move. So you move it totally lateral. Now how does this fit in with the stuff I said earlier? Where's all his weight? On his insteps. You do everything on your insteps. Now, if he took a bigger set, you with me? It would put him lower. So the bigger you step or set with your inside or your outside foot, the lower it puts you. So the more power you want, the bigger you set, which puts you lower. Because that theory of standing straight up on pass pro and throwing your head straight back looks pretty, but when they put their helmet right in your chest, they drive your ass back into the quarterback. Any questions on just setting the inside foot? Not what happens next, coach, what happens when he goes out, what happens when he goes in? Another discussion, right? Just a little point. But where's his center of gravity? Still right here. Don't lean, right? Right down the center. There's a post right down the center of him. You see that? He's not leaning. He doesn't take this foot and his shoulders don't tilt that way. Centered. He's centered. Okay? Now I would like to say that I invented this. I didn't. Anthony Munoz invented this. Now some tackle 10 years ago might have done this on his own or whatever, but I mean he's the one that really kind of refined this stuff. This is what we call jumping. And if we can do it, my guys will do it every play, particularly the tackles. All right? Watch the right tackle. Now when I say jumping, I didn't mean he invented taking a guy on short. They've been doing that for years. But offensive tackles haven't been going out like that for years. They're afraid to get beat, so every tackle in football backs straight off. Watch him. He runs out on the guy. Now, he calls this a semi-jump. He doesn't just fire out for the guy. He takes 2 or 3 steps, but he's always... What do you notice about his inside foot? How fast did he get it on the ground, right? He bounced it on the ground. He closes the difference between he and the other guy, and then he takes him on quick. Now, the right tackle's jumping his guy. There's no sense of backing straight off on pass protection if you could go out and take a guy on short, all right? Well, what's the problem? You go out here and take this guy on, they got a stun on him. Well, you got to know when to do it, why to do it, and there's a lot of variables to it. But you don't have to sit there in pass pro and let the guy put his helmet in your chest and knock you back into the quarterback. You can change up a little bit. Take him on short. Don't stick your head in, but jump him. Get out on him. Keep the base. See his demeanor? See his base? He's been trained so much, I would hope, that see 78 right there? He's a little higher because it's a pass. But you see, he's still in that waddled demeanor, instep. Jerry Lewis, keep your feet on the ground, all that stuff. Okay? That's a little bit of jump, okay? We'll see more of these later. I just wanted to cover a few things on there. From the guards do, okay? On pass pro. Okay, this first thing, and then after this we'll take a little bit of a break. About almost an hour here. This is called a middle call. Why middle? I don't know. Center stage. Okay, see it? All right, now, I'm not saying he's taking a big one, I'm not saying he's taking a little one. I'm saying this is a left tackle in a left-handed stance. He's in a 2-point right now just for the nature of the drill. He could be down. But when you set, this is my opinion, when you set inside, you just move it over. This foot's up slightly, this foot's back. You don't move it forward. If you move it forward, your body turns and you're vulnerable to that type of a move. So you move it totally lateral. Now how does this fit in with the stuff I said earlier? Where's all his weight? On his insteps. You do everything on your insteps. Now, if he took a bigger set, you with me? It would put him lower. So the bigger you step or set with your inside or your outside foot, the lower it puts you. So the more power you want, the bigger you set, which puts you lower. Because that theory of standing straight up on pass pro and throwing your head straight back looks pretty, but when they put their helmet right in your chest, they drive your ass back into the quarterback. Any questions on just setting the inside foot? Not what happens next, coach, what happens when he goes out, what happens when he goes in? Another discussion, right? Just a little point. Well, where's the center of gravity? Still right here, don't lean, right? Right down the center. There's a post right down the center of him. You see that? He's not leaning. He doesn't take this foot and his shoulders don't tilt that way. Centered. He's centered. Okay? 10 years ago might have done this on his own or whatever, but I mean, he's the one that really kind of refined this stuff. This is what we call jumping. And if we could do it, my guys would do it every play, particularly the tackles. All right? Watch the right tackle. Now, when I say jumping, I didn't mean he invented taking a guy on short. They've been doing that for years. But offensive tackles haven't been going out like that for years. They're afraid to get beat, so every tackle in football backs straight off. Watch him. He runs out on the guy. Now, he calls this a semi-jump. He doesn't just fire out for the guy. He takes 2 or 3 steps, but he's always... What do you notice about his inside foot? How fast did he get it on the ground, right? He bounced it on the ground. He closes the difference between he and the other guy, and then he takes him on quick. Now, the right tackle's jumping his guy. There's no sense of backing straight off on pass protection if you could go out and take a guy on short, all right? Well, what's the problem? You go out here and take this guy on, they got a stun on him. Well, you got to know when to do it, why to do it, and there's a lot of variables to it. But you don't have to sit there in pass pro and let the guy put his helmet in your chest and knock you back into the quarterback. You can change up a little bit. Take him on short. Don't stick your head in, but jump him. Get out on him. Keep the base. See his demeanor? See his base? He's been trained so much, I think, I would hope, that see 78 right there? He's a little higher because it's a pass. But you see he's still in that waddled demeanor, instep, Jerry Lewis, keep your feet on the ground, all that stuff. Okay? That's a little bit of jump, okay? We will see more of these later. I just wanted to cover a few things on that. From the guards do, okay? On pass pro. Okay, this first thing, and then after this we'll take a little bit of a break. About almost an hour here. This is called a middle call. Why middle? I don't know. Center stays right in the middle, okay? All right, so now, you got a defense where the center's got the middle linebacker, right? All right, it's very simple, all right? So he just pops up, he puts both hands up, he stays right in the middle. Now what can these guys do? This guy could overplay the outside, this guy could overplay the outside, they both might set inside, depends on, maybe this guy goes inside a lot. Well, if the center's in the middle, it doesn't necessarily mean both guards can set outside. It might, but all I'm trying to show you is, here's an example of a middle call. The center's in the middle, all right? Now he doesn't drop way out here in help. He stays right on the same level as the guards. No big deal. But I'm saying that there's a body in the middle to help on stunts, okay? Very simple. Okay? Let's say for whatever reason, now watch this, all right? Because this is shit that happens to us a lot, all right? Let's say these two guys got those two, okay? All right, now, you see this guy right here? See this guy over here? I can set this guy right here and check him and then help, all right? Or I can set this guy over here and look at him and let the center set. What I'm saying is, I prefer to slide everything. You know what I mean? I like to slide. I like to bring this guard here, move over. I like to move to the 3 technique. All the games come to where the 3 technique is. Over here, there aren't as many games, all right? But what I'm saying to you is these two guys got those two. The center, you can't see him, and the right guard got those two. So he's the right guard, and it's a right in. You with me now? Right in. So the right guard steps in and the center can set left. Even though these two have got those two, you can get a body kind of snuggling over here if there's no blitz to kind of help over in this area. Let's see what it looks like. See what 61's looking at? But he's saying right in. I'm the right guard, I'm stepping in. Now see where the center can set? Even though the nose is on the other side of him, see where the center can set? It's just an itty-bitty one right over here. But now he can get his body. I mean, well, this guy's powerful. He's splitting the gap on us. I can get back in here if I want. See how the right guard sets? He just moves it over. The right tackle, he's covering his man. You see that? He's got all of them with his feet. Looks like a big spread out deal, but his weight is inside, so if the guy goes in, he'll bring that foot back. Right in. Any questions? Right. This guy might be here, he might be here, but you've determined you can use a right in. All right? Now shit, what if he blitzes? Well, I got to come off. Maybe I shouldn't use a right in. All right? So what I'm saying to you, how do these two guys help these two? Let's not block ghosts. Let's get a little bit of help, whatever. Any questions? Okay, let's go to the next thing. All right, let's talk about a Roger or Louis now. This is the left guard now. What if I said left in? Which way would he set? In, right? The center could set over here. Here's all the people, right? But this is Leslie O'Neal, who my rookie tackle can't block because he's just inexperienced and young and a free agent. He'll be better. Munoz is hurt. So now these two block those two, but instead of saying left in, he says Louis. Louis means the left guard still got this guy. We're still in zone blocking, but instead of stepping in, I'm going to step out. Now, see what the left guard's doing? He's got more time. So what does the center know? The center knows when the left guard says, Louis, that I can't step that way, right? I got to step that way. We're just talking about words. We're talking about 6-inch sets one way or another. There's between a Louis and a left in, or a Roger and a right in. Right? Let's say this guy had a high tendency of scraping over here. Then we run a Louis. All right? The more he cheats into here, it'd be a left in. Except this is Leslie O'Neill. Why don't I just pull this guard out here and take him man for man? I back up and come around because I want to stay zone. I want to stay solid. I want to stop penetration. Okay? All righty. Let's just theoretically talk about Rip and Liz now. These are just words. We're playing Houston, and maybe I think that Childers is harder to handle than Lee Williams. The center's in the middle, all right? But he really says Rip. He's in the middle, but he works over here a little bit more. He doesn't stay right in the middle, all right? So this guy can overset here, he can I still got that guy. I might fire out and hit that guy a little bit, but it's not middle. This is more of a rip. This is a full slide, or what we call a red or a green. Now this is very important here now. This guy is, if we just said Liz, are you with me? Liz, he might have this guy and go over here and go over here a little bit and help out, right? Liz to the left. But if I said green or orange or a certain color, direct me to the left, this guy goes over here and he turns. This guy gets over here, all right? This guy, what I'm saying to you is, even though we've got this guy maybe, I want to really put 3 on 2. I don't want to just snuggle over here to help here or whatever. I want to get everything moving this way. Are you with me now? I can't explain it any better than that, all right? Now, what can this guy do? What I'm saying to you is, if these guys run a stunt, these two have to still pick it up, but the center might help. But when this happens, when this guy's coming and he's coming, he don't have to get this guy coming. He can just jump it. This is a slide. Different than the center just kind of staying in the middle or snuggle. Watch it. All right, now why didn't the left guard switch it? The left guard didn't switch it because he knew the center was coming, and I make the guard turn. I make him turn more. I make him bail out. When I make him turn, it tells him mentally I'm not going to switch. But if I didn't turn him, do you understand? If I kept him more like this, then they'd switch it. The center's there too. I want 3 on 2, so I want this guy to turn and stay there. I want him to jump on him right now. If he misses him, the center's waiting. So this would be like a green, unlike a Liz. Liz, I just snuggle if I lost anybody. Watch the left tackle jump. He missed him. Who cares? I got 2 guys backing me up. Now the other side's on the island, right? These guys are on the... So what I'm saying to you is I don't give a shit what you're doing, what level you're in. You got Dolman over here that's hard to block. You got a guy named Randall that's quick as shit. They run all these games over here. Put 3 on 2. Now we've got a pickup. That's our guy, right? If he comes to that gap, we'll probably run into him. Different from like eyeballing him perfectly and just snuggling a little bit and letting him block him. Block them, block the guys that are hurting you, and use the technique that you got to use to get it done. Questions? Watch Munoz, the left tackle. How can he go out on that guy that hard? Hell, he might miss him. See the guard? Like the guard shouldn't even dick with that guy. He should turn now and then look out here, but then block him with his butt. Block 93 with his butt. Right tackle's got a pretty good jam here. But you see the space of the pocket? Off the block. Okay, and then here's an example of a stance. And we just talked to Nigel, and he had a very good stance. He was well coached, but I see me talking to him as far as turn your knees in. Everything's done on your insteps. He's flat-footed. You see his feet are flat. That means he can go right, he can go left. I asked him to just pick the hand off the ground, because if he had too much weight forward, he couldn't pick his hand off the ground. Right there, he can pass block, he can run block. He's balanced. He's in a demeanor. We have him square the shoulders. That's the way I teach them to block. That's the way the stance is. We don't tell them to keep their toes real straight ahead, turn the toes in. All your weight is on your insteps. That's where you push. If he was going to go right, he'd push off his left instep. If he was going to go left, he'd push off his right instep. It's all power. Power inside. They all look good in the stance at the same time, too. You know, you can never get a... There it is. He's doing the Jerry Lewis. I teach him to run backwards. He's doing a little wave drill here. We're going a little further. Bring him forward a little bit. Make him stay in that position a long time. He was a real good athlete. He just didn't quite have the size. To see him stay in the base, we're just trying to get him to turn his hips, and now bring him forward. Done a little pass pro here. Still in the demeanor. Here's a little drill we use where we just kind of teach the guy how to time his blow, but his feet are flat. I didn't use this to show, but see, here's what I think your pass pro. This kid's got pretty long arms here. You see, it's only about a 3-inch punch. But you always want to get to a lockout. But you don't lock out right now. It's all timing. It's all with your wrists, all with your hands. He's flat-footed. This is some other drills we were doing. Okay. Now, all right, I'm going to cover some double team plays. All right, now, I think in pro ball or maybe college ball, and again, I'm not saying that it isn't important in high school ball. A lot of times the safeties of the corners in high school, you know, maybe they're not great tacklers. Well, the higher the level you get, a strong safety might be a great tackler. Corners might be decent tacklers, all right? The point I'm getting at is there are times you don't have to block the force, the secondary people. Now, let me share what we're talking about here, okay? Let's just count people, all right? Let's just say the center's got a nose guard, all right? Let's put a strong safety up here. Let's just put a guy up here in the wing, all right? If you were to count people on a straight play, not a down block, not a trap, not a counter, the center would have this guy being number 0, let's say. The guard would have him number 1. Tackle would have him number 2. These two guys would have numbers 3 and 4. You know, this guy has to, you know, these two guys have to block whatever, okay? Everybody understands that, okay? Whether the guy's coming out of the backfield or what. All right, let's go to the next point then. We all have a problem when they move the nose guard over a little bit, all right? Maybe they move the end over a little bit. I don't know. Maybe they move the backer over a little bit. There's still a strong safety or a corner. There's a backer. But on your straight block plays, whether it's a flanker or a lead back or a guy up here, if you still counted, he's got him, he's got him, he's got him, he's got him, and he's got him, right? Simple blocking, right? However you count. The point I'm making is this is a fairly hard block for the center, all right? Everything is going to get flattened out. The point I'm making is, all right, I can't put my finger exactly on it, but generally in my theory or our theory, we need this. We need a wing, you know, trips, whatever you want to call that, okay? We'd like to be in that spot or end up in that spot. The point I'm making is sometimes we'll see a team that plays back or force. That means the linebacker's got the contain and maybe the strong safety fills inside, right? Or maybe the team's in backer force. You know, the backer's got the contain, but they might be in a too deep. The safety might be deep and really not filling hard, all right? All right, so you got a backer that's fairly wide, or an end man that's fairly wide, all right? And the nose is over it. He's a thorn in your side. And the end is somewhere into here, right? And you got a forced man back here. All right, let's let him block him. Let's double team this guy to him. Let's double team this guy to the back linebacker. Now what are we doing? Now we got two double teams. We've taken a play where you have to block your exact guy, but everybody gets flattened out. Let's not block the defensive back, and let's get us two double teams, and we'll get more movement. And if the ball runs in here somewhere, are you with me? You're going to create more movement than you have your center reach, you have your guard, blah, blah, blah. Does everybody understand the principle I'm trying to get to? Take a good look at when you're really trying to block your exact rule, but you're getting so damn flattened out. No, I'm not talking about on a wide sweep, let's say, where you're going to make the center reach. I'm just saying this, boy, you got a count system, and the center's got to block that nose guard because he's offset, and you can't block the son of a bitch. He's kicking your ass the whole game, all right? The best way to double team two is, you know, let's say these two guys are doubling for this guy right here, and if he scrapes, this guy don't have to come off and get him too soon. He can come off and overblock him. Does everybody understand what I mean by overblocking? Which means I'm doubling, but this guy kind of scrapes. I can come off and push him that way because the ball's still going to go up. I don't have to always pin the guy on a double team. I can stay on the down lineman and then push him by the hole. So what I'm going to show you are some plays, and I got some Redskin film, and I got some film that we've done it and so forth, but I'm going to show you a couple of different things, then I'll show you how we did it. And again, this is against the Vikings here. This is the Redskins who do a lot of this stuff. Okay, let's just talk about, all right. All right, now let's just take a look here now, okay? They got a real power formation. I mean, you're the power eye here, right? You got three tight ends. 1, 2, 3. So now we're talking a little power formation, a little power football, all right? All right, by rule now, see if this makes sense to you, all right? That if this guy came over into here, there are still some defensive backs out here that you can't see. But watch the mismatches they're getting. Watch the left tackle and the tight end. Watch the center and the left guard. You're seeing the double teams? They got a guy kicking out a linebacker. They got another guy leading through the hole for the force guy. Now, for some reason, the coverage should be rotated over here, but for some reason, Minnesota gets screwed up here, and what I'm saying, see this offset nose guard? We're doubling. Now, really, these two guys he should come off on this guy, right? But he doesn't. So what? Create movement. See this guy come off and overblock him? Now, let's say the defensive backs were no factor at all. You could take this play and put him on him and double this guy to him. Are you with me? Double these guys forever, put him on him. Just make a lead out of him. Because it looks like the guy that 89's going through the block isn't worth the shit anyway, can't find it. Power football. Double teams. Double teams. Get as many double teams as you can get. Now that's what happened here. Look at this. They double teamed this guy, but he never came off. Look who the lead guy ended up blocking. This guy's supposed to block a defensive back. Remember, this is backer force. The backer's got the contain. I don't even know where this guy is. See the double teams? Movement. Now they're in a different defense, right? They're kind of in a, you know, the nose is this away. So now they double team this guy. What I'm saying is I can't give you all the assignments and the blocking rules. I can just say, evaluate what you're doing, and if you're doing a lot of one-on-one reach blocking type and you're not having much success, get yourself into some double teams. You'll create more movement.
Jim, can I ask you a question about one play or one block there?
Yeah, wait a
I know
second.
you're on the double team.
Let me finish right here. I'm not even saying I would teach it exactly like this. I'm just saying this. You're playing these offset nose guards and they're kicking your ass. You all see a defense like that, I'm sure you do. Okay, question.
It was just on the play backwards. I know it was the play before. Okay, all right, a lot of times, the play came to the right. Okay, it's tight end. All right, okay, I understand what you're talking about on the double team. All right, a lot of times when you're teaching at tight end, you see how that 99 is kind of stalemating him up? I mean,
Then I agree with you. Double team him with him. Like the pressure off your tight end.
yeah, because that's a bitch blocker.
Sure.
You know, that's
See, I think why. See, this guy's inside, so they probably said he can at least take him where he's going to go, and you'll watch the back runs a little wider on this play. So they tried to get outside with this one, but it was a double team concept. Okay, now let me show you a little bit how we kind of incorporated some of this stuff. They had a lead back, though. They were powerful, all right? All right, let me just show you what we did here now. All right, now let's just say we call the straight play where he's coming over here, right? And these two guys are going to block these two, and he's going to block the fourth. So we just call a regular play here. This is not a double team play. Now these two guys are blocking these two, but they're, he's got to block them, right? Watch the right guard. He drop steps. He rips. Watch the tackle. See him lose ground to get behind the tight end so he can push. See, we're trying to do everything. See this guy push? He's behind him. Get behind your buddy. So there's no gray area. See, the reason this guy doesn't split him, he's behind him. He gets behind him. So we've called this play here. See, we got this guy up here in motion. They're not in backer force. They're in corner force right here. See the corner come up? So he can't block the backer, right? So we called this play. Now the defense. This is the linebacker. Are you with the linebacker now? Now we can get a double team. Now we can get a double team. All right? This is the linebacker, not the corner now. This is the nose guard moved over. Watch the double teams. Now the man in motion didn't get a very good block. Now this guy double teaming him though didn't really, the guy went out. But see this? See this? See the hole? But by rule, are you with me? There's another guy back here. By rule, these two guys should have blocked out. He should have come here. He should have reached. There was an example that we could change the blocking scheme because we knew the outside backer. This is a backer out here now. Not a corner. He had the force. So you're just changing your count system. Now he runs outside it. Let's see it. See the center and the right guard, we got 4 guys blocking 3. Because this guy's not a factor. I mean, maybe your rules already take care of this. If they do, fine. But now this is a linebacker. All right? We don't have to block him on him and we don't have to block him on him and him on him and him on him and him on him and reach the center. We can create a double team, a double team. Sometimes the ball goes inside, sometimes it goes outside. Watch this. Watch the double team. We push them this way. The double team. Two double teams. So, but you all understand, if this backer was a little tighter and the safety was up, then the count would have to change, right? Then he'd have to block him, he'd have to block him, everybody'd have to come like that. Okay. Any questions on, now I'll give you an example. When can you do this, okay? All right, let's say, say the nose is kind of cocked right here. Say the end is here, all right? Say the linebacker, I don't know, he's somewhere in a position where he's not going to close hard. I don't care where the defensive back is, all right? You got somebody to kick him out, whether he's coming in motion or not. You double team this guy, and you double team this guy. And you run over here. Now, you're going to say, well, geez, what if this guy fires? What if they, well, fine, that's not a good play. But if you see a team that the outside backer is somewhat soft, now if you want to get a hat on the safety, then you'd end up like we saw with Washington. Now you'd have another lead guy going through the hole. But I'm trying to give you the idea that when the backer is wide, the end man is wide, you can create double teams, you can go away from your normal count. Any questions on that? The name of the game, men, are double teams, I think. Okay? Okay, team in the Colts, who did a real good job on defense. They won 8 or 9 games last year, more than they'd ever won. They had a big-ass nose tackle right here. Christ, the guy had to weigh 350 pounds. Their end was here, their backer was wherever. We ran the same kind of play over here, but now they had a safety somewhere up here. So he had to block him, 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 he had to block him. And you say, well, Jim, why don't you run a counter or a trap? Or I'm not talking about those, I'm talking about straight blocking plays. Well, we felt the nose guard would flatten this out. So here's what we did this ball game here. Because we knew the 5 technique would stay wide, all right? And the first time I've ever really done this, so I didn't know that, you know, exactly what was happening. We let him block him, we let him block him, we let him block out here, we blocked here, we pulled the center. What happened is this guy ran wide, the center should have gone right up in the hole and just blocked that guy or helped on this end, and there's a big crease right up in here. So the point is, if you're playing one of these teams that you know the 5 technique is going to stay outside, that you know the nose is working this way, okay, whatever that is, go ahead and block down with this guy, which will create a stalemate there. He'll widen, and there'll be a running lane right inside that. And the center can come and block his guy or push somebody. Any questions? I'll show you that. Okay. Now see, there's a force guy out into here. We felt that, you know, on our normal count system, we could have done the other thing I just talked about, right? He could have blocked him, right? We could have doubled him and doubled him, right? But for some reason we felt this guy coming out here would be a factor. So now we block these 2 on those 2. By the way, we like this blocking scheme. See these 2 guys right here? We call this a tandem. These guys are shoulder to shoulder for this guy and the force. Now watch what happened to the 5 technique. He went out. We neutralized the nose. There's a hole. Now really, the center is supposed to block that guy. But he ran so damn wide, he just ended up blocking that guy. I don't know if that's going to happen. But you see what I'm saying to you? Because he's supposed to go out there, and because we've stopped him, we create a lane in there. It's Derek Fenner. So we called 19 bra. These two guys together, that's a bra. We call it two guys real tight, and we called Paul. We pulled the center. If we didn't do that, we'd have had to reach him and work these two guys like that, and that guy would have flattened us out. Any questions on that? See what happened here. All right. Now we just blocked it regular. This guy's got a defensive back out here, all right? We didn't double team, but he ended up blocking this guy because it was the first guy in his face. Okay, now let's go to something else here. Watch this. This is a 3 technique, all right? An eagle guy. Now if we ran our off tackle play, we'd run right in here and cut. If I ran our outside play, we'd run over here and so forth. But we wanted to find some place to get up in that hole as fast as we can, all right? So what we wanted to do is run right for that gap as fast as we can and influence him and cut the ball right there. So for this game, we called it a slash, all right? What we learned was this back's at 6.5, and he couldn't get here and make the cut because he was too deep. So what we've learned is we can move this guy up to a normal fullback depth, run him there, that guy will widen, and maybe hit that crease right now. So this was a learning thing for us. This guy's got to put his head a little wider to influence him. Run right for that gap, and there's a crease, just like an old wishbone play. But what I'm saying, you're seeing the holes you want to get to. Influence this guy, boom. Now we got to get this guy cut off. We either got to fold block this guy. I don't like that because his ass is in the hole, but that's not bad. He cuts him off. We got to do a better job here. Well, watch the lane. See the hole? See the hole develop? This is what I try to look at when I'm looking at the other team's films. See that? How can you get in that hole? Well, this guy's got his head inside. Put your head outside. I don't know why. See him run? He thinks he's going to get hooked. See this back kind of delay? Cheat him up and run his bam. So, check with me. You got 2 tight ends. Run to the 3 technique. Run slash to the 3. What if the 3's over here? Run to the right. Quick hitting play. Nothing to it. Questions? It's a play. We screwed it up, so we found out the back was too deep to run that. It's got to be at normal fullback depth. You can run it from the eye to the fullback. Run to the 3 technique. Good for certain things. All right, let me show you. This is a good formation. You got your I formation, and you got your tight end off the ball. I'm talking about teams that would use an over or an under defense, an eagle, all right? Something like that. All right. You want to run the lead draw where he blocks him to this side. See this side here? That's the bubble. That's the guard bubble. That's the side that looks like a 50 defense. If the guard bubble's over here to the left, okay? So you started out with your tight end on the right. Okay? But now the guard bubble's over here. Now you want to run the isolation over here, the draw, the lead draw. Put him in motion to block him. Okay? So this would be an example of a check with me from I right, the tight end's off the ball. Even, odd. Run to the bubble, right? You got me? Now let's say in your same concept you want to have another little play, same type of play, but you want to run that play to the reduction or the eagle side. So the play you want to run to the eagle side is the play where he leads on that guy and you run right up in there. So you would run this to the reduced side. So over here he can stay there, you run there, right? If the reduced side is to the tight end, we're talking about just a fast hitting isolation, all right? If the reduced side is over here, Now you put this guy in motion, they think you're going to run over here to the left, and you run the lead play over here. What I'm saying to you, you got a play where you're going to block down on the nose and run a play, and you're going to have a play where you're just going to lead through. You want to run the draw, the lead play, where you can get a double team to the side that looks like a 34 or a 50. You want to run the straight lead play to the side where the guard's covered. So those are check with me's. Have I lost anybody on that one? All right, let me show you this. Now, the other thing, and we kind of got this from Brad Scott at Florida State that talked last year, and then, geez, we said, Christ, there's a great big hole here. Normally, when we run this lead draw, he goes and puts his head somewhere middle to outside. Well, we used to try to double this guy and slip off and just run an ISO. But what we found, this nose guard likes to come on side. The nose guard likes to come a little further than he's supposed to, and we just take this nose guard and turn him out, and they think we're running over here, and the back hits the back door. We screw with them. We're trying to make the nose guard cross the guard's face. All right, watch this. This is a check with me to the bubble. Okay. All right, now watch it. It wasn't perfect here, but we're actually trying to make this guy come across. Watch this backer run a little further than he's supposed to. See the back door cut? We're trying to hit the back door. Watch the nose. See what we're doing? Normally, you would just double this guy, lead up in here, and cram it up in this hole. We know the nose has kind of got this gap, so we're kind of putting him down laterally and twisting him. And the backside guard turns his guy out. This guy's knocking the shit out of the back. But we're dicking them. That's the right tackle's technique. Now, can you see that little theory if I said, okay, we want to run this play where he leads in here and he blocks him, and these guys block you run up in here. All right, that's a check with me. We've run 15 something. Boom, it's okay. All right, we want to run to the bubble with this play. So what I'm saying to you, you can run this way with the lead play. You can run this play with the lead play. But if this look is over here, we'd put this guy in motion. He'd block. We'd get the down block. Boom, boom, boom. See, as long as your tight end's off the ball, he can go in motion. Watch the nose. The hole. You find a nose guard that's playing a little further than he's supposed to play, and this backer here will bite it. See him bite? See him bite a little further than he's supposed to bite. You get two guys in the front side A gap. You turn this guy out. Big hole. This guy thinks he's killing the back. God, I'm going to kick the shit out of this play. I tell this guy right here to run for the backside number of the guy. The reason I do it is sometimes they go out and block the guy with their head like this, and their body's constricted. So when I make them go for the backside number, he covers them. Questions? Now you want to do it against this defense. Now the nose didn't cross the guard's face. He just ran it up in the hole. Now this time, he didn't cross the face at all. So the ball had to go outside. Let's see what happened here. This is the Vikings. Now We don't have a defensive back block. Same thing, watch the nose guard. Now the nose went backside. So this is your normal. Now we see where this head is? We'd like the ball to go there, where the influence is. And start there, and it'll draw him, then cut back. We always want to work outside head and challenge the outside. That'll give us a bigger lane. Your bigger holes are out into here. And if this guy flows, then we cut back. So there would be a coaching, we tell Fenner, keep it outside of 42. This is against the Pittsburgh, a little different front here. Okay, any questions about taking the back door versus that nose guard? This is a draw we got from Miami Art a couple years ago. We didn't apply the whole principles, Greg Smith, excuse me, but we got a draw. He blocks him, he blocks him, he blocks him, or he blocks him and goes to this guy, he blocks him. One back draw. One back draw. We only want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in this box. But when the center sets and gets the mic, shit, they know it's a draw. But when the center and guard go like that, they think it's regular pass pro. You see this right here? Now we take him and he picks off the mic. So I said, if you're seeing a 4-3 team and you got a one back draw, now by rule, he'd block him and he'd block him, but there's a stun occurs. So they end up switching off the stun. So we might call 40 draw, which puts him on him, him on him, him on him, and just make a 78 call. That's Anthony's number. 78, 78. He goes, blocks the mic, they turn like that. This looks like pass pro. See the middle backer? Watch him drop. Questions? Better against a 4-3 defense. Okay. Here's a little screen that we got from studying Phoenix. We study a lot of these teams in the off-season, Washington, Phoenix. These a lot of that one-back stuff. And here's a little screen. Now we're in a nickel, we're 3rd and long. I mean, you guys can, you know, you're passing the ball, and well, Phoenix is in this type of configuration right here. They got 2 backs in the backfield, I think, all right? And they got some sort of a nickel defense, you know, two guys like that, all right? This guy goes and he pulls him, all right? The center and the guard kind of work over here, and this guy works off this man right here. And if this guy goes in, the guard blocks him. And they just throw a little screen in whoever's got this linebacker, whether he's in zone or man, somebody blocks it. Either the center or the guard work over here and block him. So we're blocking the nearest man that's in a zone or covering this man, and he runs opposite. Just a little middle screen. Now we would run it a little bit faster. Okay? I'd have this guy looking at him, he goes out and bam. Boom, right in there. It's not a 3-man screen, it's just a 1-man screen. All right? See what they're doing now? Somebody gonna block him. Don't ask me about a lot of different defenses. Run it against this defense right here. Right? That's all I can see. I can only go by what I see, right? I mean, I don't care if this guy's over here, right? He can still block him, right? He can still bring him down. There's a play. Works. About a weak counter. In fact, Miami was in this type of a front right here. I'll show you the exact front they were in. Something like that, all right? And they pull this weak side guard, they pull this weak side tackle, and they block down, and he blocks, and he goes up in the hole, and Thurman Thomas runs a weak side counter to the weak side. So they ran a weak side counter, and then they ran it back here. They ran a counter to the counter, and he started to pull, and then he went around, the center blocked back, and he put his head underneath, the guard still pulled. Well, anyway, here's what it was. There's Thurman Thomas, all right? They like the weak counter. This is a nickel defense. It's second or third and long. Buffalo spreads them out. They've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in the box. So the rule would be he'd block down, House Ballard, he'd block here, he'd block back, he'd pull for this guy, he'd pull for this guy. They'd give a weak side counter play. Well, the center blocks back, but he puts his head underneath. He pulls and blocks this guy. These guys block back. He takes a step like he's going to pull, and he came back over here. Then Thurman went here, 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 here. Watch it. Take a good look at it now, because you're going to say, what the hell was that play? But can you see if the tackle would have continued to pull? Picture this play here. You'll all see a defense like this somewhere along the line. Picture him blocking him, him blocking him, him blocking him, and the tackle pulling up for that guy. Him running up in that hole. Watch with this tight end. He put his head in front of the guy and then twisted him. Twisted him inside. Watch this guy bite. Watch the guy Kent Hull blocks back. Watch him fight over the head. Any questions on that play? Last year, about a power play, okay? Now here's a power play. I'll just draw up versus a basic front. I'll move the nose over a little bit. We were trying to block. See if this makes sense to you. You know how you block the counter. He blocks down, he blocks back, he blocks back, he blocks back. You pull the guard, you may pull the tackle. You know, you're counter blocking, all right? Well, then we had a blocking scheme that was called power. We wanted to keep it the same. Now, he kicks out and the guard goes up in the hole. That's power. So counter and power are the same. I lost anybody? If I do, it's another 15-minute discussion. All right? I'll show you what I'm saying is. I'll draw it up just a 50 defense, because it's an easy defense to draw it up. If you block counter, these guys block back, he blocks back, he blocks back. You pull the guard for this guy, and somebody else pulls for him. That's counter. If you want power now, somebody else, say out of the backfield in motion, blocks this guy, and the guard goes up in the hole. But everybody else still blocks back, right? So counter and power are the same. Power being a front handoff. I lost anybody. The point I'm making is we changed our blocking theory. We felt that on the counter we keep it the same, but on power we're better off double teaming for this guy. You see, this guy, and pulling the guard around for that guy. Because the ball crams up in here and it's full flow, and what I'm saying to you, when the tackle would double this guy here and then go back on him, sometimes the back would cut right up in here and the tackle would be right in the row. So we would double for this guy and pull the guard. It was a better blocking scheme on the power. If I lost anybody, I'll show it to you. All right, now, the old rule would be they double for here. He'd block back, he'd block back. We'd kick out and pull the guard up in the hole for this guy. Now, he still went up in the hole a little wider than he should have. But watch, when these two guys can double him, they can put all their attention on those two, and they don't have to look way back here. See, the right tackle and tight end are doubling for the near backer. The guard should really go up in the first hole for this guy, but he felt there was no hole. He should have just crammed it right in there. See the bodies? But he kept coming around. I don't know why, because he's so used to blocking this guy. But all we did was block 16 power, and we blocked it. These two block him, that's your guy. But what do you notice in double teams? Any questions now? What I'm saying is it's back blocking. We're blocking back. But instead of blocking all the way back here, block this guy here and pull him up for that guy. Any questions? We run our predetermined cutbacks. That we start one way and cut all the way back. Getting kind of tired now. All right, now, let's just look at this one. Okay. Now watch this. We run so much over here to this wing. You know this wing is over here? Where, you know, like I said, we might double team this guy and double team this guy or whatever we're doing, or just run over here. Maybe we pull the center, boom, 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 right? Now we start all the flow over here. We take this guy and we trap all the way back. These guys start and bluff these guys and turn them, twist them. Now the center should have come onside a little bit more, but watch what we're doing. Really, by rule, the center and the guard would have come. The center doesn't. We're so used to doing some of this stuff that really that's the center's guard. Watch what you do. Watch how the left guard dicks up. Watch how the right guard blocks the back of the shoulder pad. It's a trap back. Now we're on the goal line. We lead a guy all the way back for the perimeter force because we got a tight end here. Watch the right tackle twist him or block the back of his pad. It's a good play action pass. Now I'll tell you what another good play is. You start this action, but give him the ball on an outside dive. See these guys freeze? You don't always have enough people to block these guys, but if you ran your outside dive now, however you block it, and ran this guy back, they'll think it's a cutback. Now watch this. Barry Sanders makes a lot of his yards like this, the great back from Detroit. We're trying to trap, but the guy comes up here and it's kind of a stalemate, and our back runs outside of the block, which he's not supposed to. But a lot of times the guys get so mired on the blocks that if you jump the ball outside, they can't tackle him. Now we're given the impression we're going to run one of those power plays over here. Watch the left tackle. See him like that little blocking scheme where we go here and one hand and all that? I'll watch him come back here and dick that guy. What I'm saying is the momentum of these guys hitting this guy so hard he can't get off the block and the ball bounces clear around him. We would call this pro right close. Eric right, Eric ball, 14 Riggs back. That's Riggs pulling. See kind of the counter crisscross action in there? Watch alignment. Give them the opinion that we're going onside, then twist them. Block the back of their pads. Those are backs, or plays. Are flowing real fast. We don't have anybody to lead. so we're going to pass block him and show flow. Watch the hole right here. See the hole? You spot that. You're looking at film. I'm trying to show you maybe how you look at film. You see a team run something over here. You know, you're watching. Oh my God. How do I get back there? This is a predetermined cutback. But it's not as good if this guy cuts him off. It's better when he pass blocks him. Then we bring him upfield, and you know there's different levels because when he pass blocks and he goes upfield and they run block, you have separation. Any questions on backs? Our off tackle play, we run for the inside leg of the tackle. That's if there's that look right there, a defensive end or a bubble over the guard. When the guard is covered, we run at the butt of the inside leg of the guard. We've got more cuts. All right, here's why. Okay, now what I'm saying to you is, it's hard to see this. This is Chicago, but this is a tackle. This might be the refrigerator. I don't know which one of these. McMichael, the refrigerator over here. You either run here at the inside leg of this guy. That's 16. That's the guy you chase. That's the guy you're keen. That guy right there. Or you run at the inside leg of this guy or the butt of this guy, and that's the guy you're keen. Our feeling is, if you run at this guy, you've got more multiple cuts because here's a soft spot. If you run wider, it's hard to get behind this guy back here. Everybody understand the theory I'm talking about? So he will run at this guy. This guy will make him move. This guy should chase his inside leg. Now you think it's awful tight handle, but it isn't, because when he drops steps and he goes, this guy moves. Or he doesn't move. He doesn't move, boom, there's the hole. Watch Singletary. He thinks it's a cutback. But you know why the back can take the proper hold? Who do you think he's looking at? That guy. If your backs are cutting back too soon or not going where they're supposed to, it's because they're watching everybody. Don't let them watch everybody. Just let them watch the down lineman. Now the right guard's a little high, but you see his drop step? He blocks the guy. He blocks him good. He didn't fire out and knock the shit out of him and step forward as hard as he could. He couldn't hold the block. When he drop steps a little bit, he bides a little time to time it up. All right? So what I'm saying, rather than run wide over here, what I'm saying, if you ran wide over here, he might still pick this up, but if his eyes are only looking at this guy right here, he's got more multiple cuts than he does if his eyes are over here. Watch the left guard. He's blocking the refridge. And he's not firing out. See him drop step? Where's his foot? Flat-footed. See the movement he creates? The reason this guy creates movement on him is because the back moves him. The guard's head should be just a little more outside. Watch the center. See the center's angle with his shoulders? If the center flushed up on him, Singletary could come off the blocks. But when your shoulders are like this, you make Singletary come in front of you or behind you. If your shoulders are square, he's got a two-way go. We're always on a shoulder tilt. So do you understand why when the guard is covered, we read that guy on our belly play rather than run over here and don't tell him to look at anybody? We have better cuts when they read the down lineman. If he goes out, you go right here. There's a big hole, boom. I'm going to finish this stuff, so but if you want to leave, you can leave. I'm going to finish this stuff. All right. Theory right here, okay? We're jumping around here. You see this defense. Now this is simple, right? But you see this defense, this 4-4? There's a big hole up the middle. Particularly if these guys are going out. Now, I don't care if you have a tight end in or not, but one of the best plays against this 4-4 defense is to go like this and run right up the middle. In fact, the quarterback's audibling to it. I prefer the right guard cover him a little more. He's too much inside out. Shrinks the hole. See his ass is in the hole? The guard didn't go far enough. Watch the center's shoulder turn. See the shoulder turn? That's going to make that guy go here or go behind him. Watch the left guard's shoulder turn. See the shoulder turn? See the shoulder turn? There's a hole. If you square up on a guy, he can come off the block.
What did you want that right guard to do again?
The right guard's aiming point should be outside further. He's too tight with his aiming point, which means he shrinks the hole. This inside foot should be to his inside foot. He should have head placement 3 inches outside the midpoint. But you understand about shoulder turn? Bigger holes than if you square up on your guy. Because see the back, he'll go there or he'll go there. Watch the left guard. Watch the timing. Is he firing out? Yeah, he's going forward. But see this foot? See the timing when he picks it up, puts it down? Watch this guy move, because he moves it. Watch the center. See that drop step? That puts him on the angle to block that guy. You won't believe this one here now. And this is a damn good defensive team. All right. He's going to block him. These two are going to block these two. These two are going to block these two. We're all spread out. It's second and long. And he's going to run 14. Well, this big son of a bitch hits that gap so damn hard, and he almost splits us. If this center didn't drop step, didn't do that, he'd have never even intercepted him. You know how like we used to all zone step like that on an angle? He'd split us. Watch the center get behind him. At least he covers them up. You have to lose ground to get on an angle to get your job done. If you don't lose ground, you'll never get the job done because the angle of going forward, the guy will split you. Watch this one. These are powerful people, these Steelers, too. Watch the center here. See the center drop? He's almost dropping underneath himself. He knows damn well that because he's on the ball, he's got to snap the ball, and he's got to pick up a guy that does something like this. The point I'm making is, I occasionally question myself because I don't really teach them to fire out as hard as they can. Oh, we want to butt them and strike them. That this one thing showed me that losing ground or taking a drop step or a back step, even though your body's going forward, is the way to do it. A little wider head for this, a green, this is a hell of a football player. His name's Thomas Rayum. The Redskins drafted him in the 11th round from Alabama. He was a defensive lineman. He's a stud. They made him an offensive tackle, and he was not a real good tackle. He cut him. I picked him up this year, and I moved him into guard, and he's an animal. He's a tremendous player. Watch the center. See the drop step? See the angle that puts him on? Now, where do you think the back should... If the back chases this guy right here, I don't know, right there. See it? Chase the inside leg of your guard. Look at this guy. Look at him. That's the only, don't look at him. Your backs will do all this crazy shit. Look at this guy. Chase his leg. See the chase hole? The chase hole. See the center shoulder turn? If your center squares up on the guy, he'll come off the block. But if the center turns his shoulder, the guy may come behind him. See him come behind him? You understand about shoulder turns when you're blocking. You understand about the back setting all these guys' blocks up, because if this back right here cut back too soon, this guy'd come right off the block. See if he cut back too soon? It disrupts everything I'm trying to do with the lineman. See how I'm trying to keep the lineman's shoulders tilted? Questions?
The right.
See him? Creases. You put your ass in the hole, there's no hole.
What about your hand placement?
Your what?
Hand placement.
We do it all with a forearm blow. Free up the other hand. The only time we put both hands in there if it's a straight drive block. That's where the flipper, you know what I mean? The forearm, the flipper, the crowder. See, he's reading this guy right in here. He can pick this cut up better. If he's going too wide, he can't pick the cut back up. See how he's almost running up the middle? There's a good defensive team here. Watch the right guard stay on the angle. Now the reason we're getting behind and doubling this guy right here is he's so far away. Watch the drop step. Watch his drop step. See this guy move? Watch him move. Why do you think this guy moves? Because I put my head out here and he moves. If he fired straight ahead at him and he came straight ahead, you would make this guy move. So the back makes this guy move. This is the demeanor drill. You've all seen this before, but we practice this all the time. The base, wide base, pass blocking. This is a coach. I have all the players coaches. They're all working at once. He's giving them a wave drill. He's trying to stay lateral, lateral like pass blocking. If he goes forward and backwards, he pumps his arm like body control. That's the duck, the demeanor, the base. Boom. Then this guy challenges. It might be a pass, it might be a run. These are all types of little drills we do here. We're going to get to one here in a minute. When he blocks down, he takes a drop step. That gets you on the angle. You see what I mean? He's blocking down on a guy. See the forearm? That gets everything on the angle to block. I want to get to a little pass. In here, this is the left guard, this is the left tackle. He's got a defensive end on. All right, this guy stunts like that, and this guy twists. Okay? So he spots the stunt, so he goes to obliterate the stunt, force the switch. So I'll draw it up here a little bit easier. There's a tackle and an end, all right? This guy goes out, he takes a step and goes around here. So as he's pass blocking, they go to switch. Well, there's an attitude on how to switch. So we're just practicing how to force the switch. So what I'm saying, when we switch, we don't want to accept the switch, we want to force the switch. We want to knock the shit out of the guy coming in. Okay? This is the left tackle. He's pass blocking this guy. He takes a couple steps and loops. This guy comes out. Then he goes, bam! He kills this guy, and that'll force the guard off. So we're practicing an attitude on pass protection. Force the switch. Force the exchange. Just like a run block. You have to practice all these things and isolate them. What I'm saying, rather than doing drills over bags, over dummies, practice what they're going to do in a game as your drills. The guard. So we're practicing the technique versus this defensive guy that doesn't go out, just plays in that gray area. But when you take the drop step, you can come back and hit him. If the guy slanted and you had to come back and put a hand on this little boom, so if you step forward, you'll never come back and be able to get a shot on. You understand where I'm coming from? Okay. All right, now, that was a lot of things. There's probably 25 deals there. So maybe you picked up one or two. Now.